Remember what the American dream used to mean? I do. It used to mean working hard, keeping your nose clean, and getting enough of a paycheck so you could raise your family, meet all the essentials. You know, we went through this a couple days ago. It's worth repeating. Be able to take a vacation every now and then, afford a quality retirement. If you wanted to be really successful, climb to the highest rungs of the American ladder. It used to mean coming up with an idea and starting a small business where there's a local shoe store, appliance store, travel agency, repair shop. It used to mean hiring local members of your community to build that business and eventually passing that business on to your kids and those employees, staying there long enough to get retirement and maybe their kids working for you. Remember main streets in cities across America before Reagan? I realize many of you are not old enough to remember. Ask somebody who is. You will be astounded. Or go back and look at some of the old movies, Netflix or whatever. You can see these old TV shows from the 60s and 70s. America was completely different. They all look completely different, full of their own unique shops, boutiques, all employing local workers, making good paychecks so they could spend money at other local stores and keep the local economy thriving. That used to be the American dream. And then something happened. That something was Reaganomics, specifically changes in our antitrust laws and our tax code that opened the way for corporate predators like Bain Capital. Bain Capital's business model would have been a crime in the 1970s, or at any other time in American history, by and large. Reagan legalized it. That gave the way to transnational corporations that devoured local shops on Main Street by undercutting them, using cheap labor abroad, tax loopholes, massive government subsidies. Look around Main Street today. They all look the same. Everywhere you go, Walmart, Best Buys, McDonald's, Olive Garden, Burger King. I mean, you know the list. Those local businesses from yesterday, they're gone. Or occasionally some brands survive, but they're actually secretly owned by PepsiCo. Those good paychecks that recycled wealth through the local economy, they're gone. Everybody's working for burger flipping wages, except a few teachers. And you got the whole Republican Party screaming, "Oh, look at that, they're making too much money." And then came the leveraged buyout artists and the hostile takeover hustlers, who eventually got so much bad press, LBO and hostile takeovers, that they changed their industry's name. They officially changed their name to private equity, or as I refer to it, pirate equity. It was the opening for corporate predators who created a new business model wherein billions were made simply by harvesting local companies, sucking all the wealth out of them, and then discarding their bones or selling them for scrap. Here's how one of those predators explained how it was done back in 1985, right after Ronald Reagan made it legal.
Bain Capital is an investment partnership which was formed to invest in startup companies and ongoing companies, then to take an active hand in managing them, and hopefully 5 to 8 years later to harvest them at a significant profit.
Sound familiar? That was Mitt Romney, 1985. Harvest them for a significant profit. Yep, he just said that. Harvesting is usually a term reserved for farming when you're, ripping the crops out of the ground, removing the grain or fruit of value, and like Bain did with our middle-class workers in factories, throwing everything else away. Or burning it in the fields. It's a term used to describe inhumane third-world regimes that harvest human organs. It's a term used to describe the plot lines of sci-fi movies when aliens harvest humans. It's a term Mitt Romney used to describe what his company was created to do to local economies. Romney's not a job creator. By his own admission, he's a profit harvester. And today, all that money he's made harvesting the money in what were once our local economies is being used to finance his run for the White House to be the harvester in chief. I mean, really, that's what it all comes down to. The American dream is just, it's toast. I told, a couple days ago, I told the story of my dad and how, largely because of the GI Bill. He was able to go to college. He didn't graduate because my mom got pregnant with me. He got a good union job, or a good job in a union shop. Lansing Tool and Die Sinking, worked there for 40 years, died owning his own home. He had a new car every 3 years, a good GM car at that, made just up the street from him. They made the parts for them at Lansing Tool and Die Sinking, or they made the dies that made the parts. And I had the American dream, too. I mean, it was amazing. It was just, I look back on it, it was just amazing. In 1957, when Sputnik went up, Dwight Eisenhower went nuts and said, okay, let's find, gifted kids in America and really give them a shot. And myself and another friend of mine were pulled out of our elementary school, not literally pulled out, but selected out and said, you can learn as much as you want as fast as you can. And by 6th grade, we were we were college level pretty much everything. And that next summer, I got this summer scholarship to go to Michigan State University. And then, went to junior high school. And in the midst of that, the Vietnam War started and everything fell apart. The money for gifted kids went away. So 10th grade, high school, I was hating it. I was bored silly. I eventually got basically thrown out of high school in the 10th grade. Took a GED, scored the 97th and 98th percentile right across the board, which got me into Lansing Community College, where I eventually dropped out of there too. Why? Because I had started a business in East Lansing, Michigan that by that time had 5 employees, and I was making more money than my dad was. And I've been an entrepreneur ever since. Literally ever since I was 17, 18 years old. And that's the American dream too. And increasingly, it's dead.
You're listening to the Thom Hartmann Program. Call 866-987-THOM.
Do you really think that somebody who was a high school kickout and a college dropout today could start a series of businesses, make a good living, raise kids, have a successful family?